Let's get to Christoph Boschan, the CEO of Vienna from Alger. Let me get to you, Christoph, about the tariffs first up, because what we're hearing is that there's a potential for some sort of a breakthrough here with China, but we don't have any details, of course, just some signaling from the White House. How welcome would that be, given we've just had downgrades from the IMF on just about every country across the world?
Yeah, good morning. Look, I mean, the good thing for Europe is that it is currently not the main battle line in the tariff conflict. Actually, rather the contrary. It has a relative advantage because, well, we are starting in Europe, and that is decisive for the investors' audience. We are starting here from a very moderate valuation, price earnings, still fluctuating in our market around 7, 8, maybe on the European average, it's 12 up to 13. So quite a gap to be closed, particularly to the US markets. And yeah, I mean, concerning the tariff conflict, mainly with China again, this is actually advantageous for you currently, because our market, every good that is now lacking access to the US market will flood also into Europe. So this will have a deflationary effect too. And yeah, again, I think when you think about Europe and its role in the tariff conflict, then I do see a relative strength, a relative strength also because of the tremendous Keynesian firepower we still have in possession. Don't forget, the debt burden in relation to the overall GDP stays around 60 up to 80% in Europe, which is actually half of what it is in the US. And that altogether makes me quite positive, actually always relatively positive in relation to the rest of the world for Europe.
Can I ask you about the direct impact on your exchange, though? Because it feels as though we've seen very strong trading activity around stocks, at least. And the banks, US banks the other week actually magnified this when they reported their numbers. But other business has been taken away and put on hold, hasn't it? So just explain what you're seeing from the exchange's perspective.
Yeah, from a technical market operator, I can absolutely confirm that we've seen a drastic increase in volume, double, even tripled volume on some days. That's the usual volatility effect. But yes, admittedly, to an extent that we very rarely see on the exchange. And yeah, in terms of volatility, I mean, you all see the volatility that has been induced to the market. That will continue for the time being. And for market operators, actually, and this is not an investment advice, and the Vienna Bourse is not listed, but other exchanges are. Maybe it is worthwhile looking at infrastructure providers like exchanges for investors too these days.
Christoph, very good to see you're not listed, and I was going to come to that because obviously you have some very esteemed shareholders from Erste to UniCredit, etc. Do you ever have that conversation with Stefan Boschan where he puts an arm around your shoulder, Christoph, and says, "Come on, Christoph, come and join us"?
Yes, absolutely. And I know the arm of Stefan very well. And I can only say what I have always said: exchanges need to merge. They have to merge if it makes sense. But again, look, I mean, our clients decide on a very daily basis about the value of the services that we provide here in terms of trading, in terms of data provision, index calculation, or our recent fledgling central European debt listing platform where we gained market leadership over the last 5 years. So obviously, the mere existence of very successful, rather small or mid-sized market like ours proves those advocates for further consolidation wrong. And you know what? I mean, we have a very, very cooperative partnership with Euronext, and I like the model, I like the strategy, and kudos to Stefan and the work he has done over the recent years. But what really bothers me is the role of European politicians these days. How lightly and easily they discuss the issue of consolidation. because this is something we should definitely leave to the market. Again, our clients decide that question on a daily basis. Yeah? And I can only urge European politicians really to abstain from going down that way, that way of politically planned economy. That is the wrong path. They should rather do their homework in their genuine role as European politicians. Their obligation is to provide us with a stable regulatory environment, with a unified supervision, maybe, that then carries out the regulatory supervision on an equal footing and equally over all the union countries. So that would be my call, to return to the genuine work politicians have to do, and to leave the rest to the market forces.
Is he still a politician? I was thinking about Enrico Letta. Was a politician, now an academic, now an advisor, and his proposals plus Draghi's make me think that there are some great policy initiatives that could tear down the barriers, that could make it so much easier to raise capital in the magnificent city of Vienna and elsewhere in Austria as well, if only they take on board those proposals, Christoph.
Yeah, absolutely. You are referring to the so-called Capital Markets Union. The Capital Markets Union is one of the largest distractions. What the really need of the market is. Yes, I know the letter in the Draghi report very well. And if you really read through it, you just say, yeah, okay, all administrative measures that need to be taken, and please, dear politicians, go on with it. Yeah? There's no discussion about it. It's all right. It has our full support. But nothing of this, even combined and even summed up, will solve the fundamental problem of the European markets, and that is lack of relevant capital pools. This is the decisive measure. Yeah? Every political action should actually be targeted at setting up the relevant capital pools that then enable us to compete with the US, and everything else, the infrastructure, the investors' rate, the stability of the social security systems, will then derive out of that.
Christoph, we've had the honour of speaking to so many of the key players in Austria over the years, looking not only, of course, to the west, but also to the centre and to the east of Europe, and those great growth drivers that are the emerging nations as well. Are we going to get that kind of drive back in Europe that those countries represented, and that Vienna and Austria so kind of helped capitalise? Is that coming back anytime soon? Do you think that drive, that energy?
Oh, it's not only coming back, it has actually never changed. And when I look at markets, I always just judge about the relative competitiveness of this or that region and this and that investment opportunity. And what remains to be the case is that growth in the Central and Eastern European region has been, is, and will be for the foreseeable future twice as high as in Western Europe. So the Austrian investment story, with a lot of attractive issues that are active in the Central and Eastern European region, that is still intact. And again, on a very, very moderate valuation, because it took a certain hit from the Ukraine crisis. But yeah, this is maybe then worthwhile to discuss at another point in time. When we will have peace, this is actually the region to invest, and it is the Austrian issues that will benefit the most from it.
I've loved to see you, and I look forward to hopefully coming down to see you in Vienna at some stage soon. That'd be great. Christoph Boschan, who is the CEO of Wiener Börse AG. Thank you, sir.